3, 2, 1, here we go, record. Quadratic formula, day 2. Here's the question. Use the quadratic formula to solve for what that variable is. See, 3n squared minus 10n minus 10 equals 3n. We're trying to find what n is. And we see that it's a quadratic. We're not going to do factoring. We're going to use the quadratic formula. So I'm going to write out here, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Yeah, so there's the frozen. Sorry. Yikes, not even there. So there's the formula. It'll be provided for you. Maybe you can memorize it if you want. But yeah, we're not ready to use the formula yet because look at the equation. It's not set up in standard form. So I think this 3n on the right, just move it to the left by subtracting it, will get us into standard form. So I think once you subtract 3n, you'll get negative 13n. And we'll have a 0 on the right. Boom. Now it's set up, here's our a, the 3. Here's our b, the negative 13. Here's our c, the negative 10. And then we can plug it into the formula, use the formula. We got b is negative 13. So in the formula, negative 13 is positive 13 plus or minus the square root of negative 13 squared is 169 minus 4ac. 4 times 3 times c, which is negative 10. I'm getting negative 120.
Teachers, again, any students you have in your room who should be testing today, juniors taking the TSIA 2, if you'll please send them at this time to their testing location, either in the teaching theater or in labs 1241 and 1247.
Yes,
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm evaluating, doing some stuff, and I've gotten up to there, you see, using the formula. And this breaks off into 2 answers, yo. Try to understand that. One's going to be 5, and the other one's going to be negative 2 over 3. So I hope that looks very familiar from yesterday. So this is nothing new. This is just a type of problem from yesterday. Is there anything else you want to take from this? I'll leave it up here for a while. And maybe I'll pause the recording. But yeah, just like yesterday, using the formula, understanding what A, B, and C is, all very doable. Ooh, I guess I should talk about what I wrote in the bottom there. Maybe you don't need to write that, but at least understand. Rational numbers. What are rational numbers? 1/2's a rational number. 1/3's a rational number. Negative 10, 115.52, etc. Well, what's special about these numbers? The idea is all those numbers can be written as a fraction, as a ratio, okay? 1/3, even 115, like negative 10 can be written as a fraction. How? Just put a 1 underneath it. But it's not as simple as that. Well, really, for the next slide, I'll show you what a irrational number is, a number that's not rational, because that's pertinent to the example we're doing next. So let me move on here. All right, example 2. We're going to get an irrational answer, okay? Irrational answer. And I'll show you what that looks like. And honestly, you can get a heads up, a sneak peek on the bottom. What are irrational numbers? Pi is an irrational number, also, which is also 3.14, blah, 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 blah. Square root of 2 is an irrational number, negative square root of 5. So pretty much, for our purposes, if it's a square root number, that's definitely not a rational number. And our answer is going to be a little ugly in the end. That's all we really need to understand from this. So let's look at the question. Solve the equation for all real solutions. What? For all real solutions? I do not like this. No. No, all real solutions. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so let's set it up to use the quadratic formula. I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. I'm going to get the quadratic equation that looks like this, c equals 0. I'm going to do x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac 4ac all over 2a. That's the a's 3. Yeah, so if we clean this up, let's see what we got. So this is what we got so far. And there's a little problem here. And this is related to the irrational idea. Square root of 85. Is 85 a perfect square? Is it a perfect square? Can I square root 85 and get a whole number? No. See, if it was 81, your answer could be 9. If it was something else, it could be something else. Sure, okay. The square root of 85 cannot be square rooted. So this is where the irrational part comes in. A number or an answer with the square root still there is an irrational number. Okay. But do we stop here? You could simplify, okay, in the simplest form. Square root of 85. Remember, is there a perfect square we can divide out of 85? Is there a perfect square we can divide out of 85 to simplify it? What would work? Let me try 16. No, 16 doesn't work. Would 4 work? No. Does anything work, really? What the fuck? Shut up. This is recorded. I don't think any number works. 9?
No, 9 is going.
This feels like nothing works. No perfect square. 25. 36. Nothing works. Interesting. Well, I guess this is the final answer. See, if that square root of 85 could have been, simplified, meaning a number could have divided out and put it in front of the square root because it's a perfect square, then you could have done that. But that's as far as you go. Because it's an irrational answer, it's going to be a square root in there. Very interesting. Well, I guess I'll